Malaysia working with ASEAN partners to establish VTL. EU regulator gives go-ahead to first COVID shot for 5 to 11-year-olds. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. You're watching Updates at Noon with me. I'm Jessica Lee. Now, Malaysia is currently working with a few Asia-Europe meeting or ASEAN partners, such as Singapore and Indonesia, to establish the Vaccinated Travel Lane, or VTL. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said he hopes that the resumption of people movement between countries would help boost economies, resuscitate livelihoods, and refresh people-to-people contact. The Premier also called upon ASEAN partners to facilitate and promote people-to-people access and to foster deeper economic ties. He added that Malaysia also aspires to become a hub for the production of COVID-19 vaccines. This goal can be made possible with the establishment of various initiatives such as the National Vaccine Development Roadmap, PPVN, as well as the Malaysian Genome and Vaccine Institute, MGVI. Speaking at the first plenary session of the 13th ASEAN Summit held virtually, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the negative impacts the COVID-19 pandemic has presented the world with numerous opportunities. Now, ASEAN was formed to foster dialogue and cooperation between Asia and Europe, which comprises 21 Asian countries, 28 European Union countries, 2 European countries, the ASEAN Secretariat and the European Commission. Since joining in 1996, Malaysia has since actively participated in all ASEAN initiatives that benefit both regions. The government has allocated cash aid amounting to 262 million ringgit as an early response to help farmers who were impacted by the rising prices of fertilizers and pesticides. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said from the amount, 62 million ringgit will be channeled via the National Farmers Organisation, or NAFAS, as a booster to the allocation for paddy subsidies and incentives under Budget 2022. Meanwhile, 200 million ringgit has been prepared for agro-food loans at an interest rate of 0%, in addition to a loan repayment moratorium for 6 months under Tekun Nasional and Agrobank. This will ease the financial burden of affected fruits and vegetable crops businesses. Speaking at the launching of the 47th NAFAS Annual General Meeting and Dinner, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said he has instructed the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industries, Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs to formulate mitigation measures to address the issue. The Premier said the government would also continue providing subsidies and incentives based on inputs and outputs. The standard operating procedures for prevention of COVID-19 throughout the 12th Sarawak state election will be finalised by the end of the month. Now, according to Health Ministry Minister Khairi Jamaluddin, discussions were made with the Sarawak State Secretary regarding the implementation of the SOPs. Khairi added that Deputy Health Minister Datuk Aaron Agodagang has been entrusted with coordinating the matter with the Sarawak government. He also said that there are several matters which need refining before the SOPs can be recommended to the Election Commission EC to be finalised. The deadline for the finalisation of the SOPs to be proposed is on the 30th of November. The EC has determined 18 December for polling and December 6th for nominations, with early voting to be held on the 14th of December. The Communications and Multimedia Ministry, or KKMM, has achieved 100% of the 3 key performance indicators, or KPI, planned under the 100-day Aspirasi Keluarga Malaysia. Its Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said the 3 KPIs are to reopen the creative industry, to launch the Keluarga Malaysia Teen Package and Keluarga Malaysia Device Package, and to offer grants, funds and incentives to small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, digital creative industry and digital industry companies.
Kita menjangkakan dan mensasarkan 2,000 usahawan-usahawan ataupun penerbit-penerbit dan juga syarikat-syarikat yang terkait dengan industri perfilman dapat kembali aktif. Tapi dengan usaha-usaha yang telah dijalankan termasuklah oleh Finas yang mula membuat pendaftaran semula, mengeluarkan lesen-lesen dan pembaruan lesen dan sebagainya, kita dapati kita punya pencapaian industri yang kembali dihidupkan semula itu double. Kita sasar 2,000, yang kita dapat 3,990.
He said that KKMM has also settled channeling of funds to 200 companies. This had also exceeded the initial target of 150 digital content companies in requesting for funds prepared by the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, or MDEC, in which they will obtain the funds within 100 days. Now, also achieving 100% of their main target for 3 key performance indicators, or KPI, is the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, or MOSTI. According to its Minister, Datuk Seri Dr. Adham Baba, the aforementioned KPI have been tabled to the Prime Minister at the report card session in Parliament.
Alhamdulillah, kita telah tentangkan pada Menteri 3 perkara, iaitu Pelan Hala 7 Pembangunan Vaksin Negara serta Institut Genom dan Vaksin Negara. Kedua, pembangunan ekosistem industri pemula ataupun startup yang komprehensif.
He added that another KPI achieved is the innovation of the government delivery system, or My Hackathon, describing the media as a link between the government and the community in conveying information. Datuk Seri Dr. Adham said communications between the government and the Keluarga Malaysia would be strained without the media, as information from the government could not be conveyed comprehensively. As such, he advised media to cover and produce news ethically to avoid confusion among the community. Coming up in sport, Peng Sun Liu Ying extracts sweet revenge with triumph over the Germans. Now, spectators at stadiums are not allowed to eat or drink throughout their stay there. Now, this was announced by the Malaysian Football League, or MFL, for the supporters, which will be present to witness the 2021 Malaysia Cup finals this 30th of November. According to MFL Chief Executive Officer Stuart Ramalingam, the matter was already announced by the Youth and Sports Ministry yesterday. Nevertheless, MFL and the Malaysia Stadium Corporation, PSM, plans to prepare vendor sites outside the stadium to allow spectators to purchase food and beverages and eat before entering the stadium. Meanwhile, the number of spectators at the Bukit Jalil National Stadium remains restricted to 50% of its maximum capacity, or 20,000 seats, whichever is lower. Stewart added that any changes will be announced from time to time. Malacca United FC are one step away from creating domestic football history by qualifying for the Malaysia Cup final, and the players are all fired up to ensure they do not slip up when they take on Kuala Lumpur City FC in the semi-finals return leg tie tonight. Malacca coach Zainal Abidin Hassan, however, was quick to admit it won't be easy, as they could only manage a 1-1 draw away in the first leg on Monday. But with the return leg tonight being held at their home ground at the Hang Jebat Stadium, Zainal believes that victory is possible, judging by the determination shown by his players.
Itu cuma sedikit. Yang penting adalah fokus di dalam perlawanan. Mereka tidak memikirkan lain apa daripada perlawanan malam esok. Itu lebih penting bagi saya, dan mereka tahu kedudukan mereka, dan juga mereka tahu tentangan hebat akan mereka terima daripada pasukan Kuala Lumpur.
In the first leg, which was held at the Kuala Lumpur Football Stadium in Cheras, both teams drew 1-1 after Ariano Narcisco netted for Malacca before Zafri Yahya equalised for KL. For the record, Malacca's best achievement in the oldest football competition in Southeast Asia was reaching the semi-finals in 1983, with a squad containing national football legends like Datuk So Chin An, Ramli Junip and Lim Chuan Chin. Now, Malacca also made the quarterfinals in 2017 and 2019. The Terengganu Health Department has issued a compound notice of 10,000 ringgit each to Terengganu Football Club Syndrome Berhad TFC and Malaysia Football League MFL for breach of standard operating procedures at the Malaysia Cup match. State Health Director Datuk Dr. Kasih said action was taken against TFC as the hosts and MFL as organisers of the match between TFC and Johor Darul Takzim FC at Stadium Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin in Gong Badak, Kuala Nerus on Monday. In a statement, Datuk Dr. Kasmani said the compound notices were issued because both parties failed to ensure adherence to the general protocol in management of fans and supporters, that is physical distancing and proper wearing of face masks during the match. However, she said investigations showed that the TFC management had taken certain precautionary measures against COVID-19, including limiting the number of spectators to 20,000, providing MySejahtera QR code for scanning, conducting temperature checks and making available hand sanitizers. Meanwhile, TFC Chief Operating Officer Muhammad Sabri Abbas said they would appeal to the Ministry of Health for a lower fine. She said the club admitted their mistake but hoped that the compound could be lowered to ease their financial burden. Muhammad Sabri said TFC would be appealing just its own case and not that of MFL. In badminton news, national professional mixed doubles pair of Chan Ping Soon, Goh Liu Ying booked their quarterfinal slot yesterday in the Indonesia Open 2021 in Bali after trouncing Germans Jones Ralphie Janssen, Linda Elfer 21-9, 21-13 in the second round. It was a sweet revenge for the national mixed doubles pair after their triumph over the Germans who beat them at the Indonesia Masters last week. The 2016 Rio Olympic silver medalists will meet South Koreans Ko Sung-hyun, Yom Hae-won in the quarterfinals today.
Last week kan kita lawan dia orang dah analyse sikit dia orang cara dia orang main dengan kita orang. So sebelum dia main taktikal itu kita sudah fikir nak counter balik.
Semua taktikal pun jadi hari ini. So boleh nampak kita orang senang main lah.
Final item on squash, Malaysian Open Squash Championships defending champion Ng Yen Yao kept up his impressive home record to blitz into the semi-finals after defeating Niklas Müller of Switzerland 11-6, 11-5, 11-5 at the National Squash Centre in Bukit Jalil yesterday. Yen Yao said he felt very good during the tournament as he aimed to go all the way and win it. Yen Yao's semi-final opponent will be Colombian top seed Miguel Rodriguez, who eased past Shah Jahan Khan of the United States 11-1, 11-9, 11-1 in the other quarter-final tie. However, hopes of a second Malaysian semi-finalist in the women's category were dashed when defending champion Rachel Arnold lost a nail-biting 5-setter 3-11, 11-8, 11-6, 6-11, 6-11 in 44 minutes to top seed and world number 8 Salma Hani of Egypt. Salma will square off against Canada's 4th-seeded Holly Norton in the semi-finals. Norton downed Hong Kong Zi Luk Ho 11-8, 13-11, 11-13, 11-5 in the other quarter-final clash.
There has been a drastic increase in suicide cases as compared with previous years. According to PDRM, as of March this year, a total of 336 suicide cases were recorded. We can manage this issue if we are able to identify the symptoms of early depression. Don't go through it alone. Go and get help.
And that concludes today's edition of Updates at Noon. In our top story, EU regulator gives go-ahead to first COVID shots for 5 to 11-year-olds. Tune in to News at 10 coming up at 10 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM on My Freeviews channel 123. You can also stream the news by surfing RTM Click. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Jessica Lee.